All right, something keeping me up at night right now is where everything is about to go in the live shopping world. Because once I saw this thing about Popmart and the Labubu craze, I couldn't unsee it. I'm serious.
I knew a little boo-boo growing up.
I'm sure Lil Boo Boo was your homie in elementary school.
Not my homie.
All right.
Well,
I know it now, but the fact
a lot of homies homie,
all right,
but not my homie.
Lil Boo Boo was getting passed around. This new Labubu
Boo got a boo
is very scarce. It's very difficult to obtain, and is reselling. It's an action figure reselling for as high as $3,000 right now on the open market.
How do you pronounce it?
Labubu, Labubu.
Okay,
And
Labubu.
the reason I found this brand, which is called Popmart, is because they are actually the number 1, the number 2, and number 4 creator on TikTok Shop in the last 30 days themselves. So they have 4 different accounts. 3 of them are in the top 4 of performers as creators on TikTok Shop by views and revenue generated. And why is that? It's because they're live shopping, live streaming 24/7. All they're ever doing is just going live from their brand account, whether it's Popmart US, Popmart Official, Popmart US Shop. These are all 3 different verticals that they're going live from. And they're doing unboxing. They're doing mystery reveals. They're talking through the lore of this, individual Labubu. For context, a Labubu is like this keychain action figure invented by some artist in Hong Kong about a decade ago. Popmart is a massive toy manufacturer in China. They got the rights to it and proceeded to commercialize it, and somehow got it in, the hands of Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, even Dylan Brooks' ass. And from there, it kind of took on a life of its own. They do all the things that we talk about to build FOMO, urgency, and scarcity, which is they do limited drops and you never know what you're going to get. So it's a mystery pack. So you could get, a rare one, or you could get a generic, and you just don't know. Why is that relevant? Because there's built-in narrative that they can do on these live shopping streams. So it's unboxing Labubus. It's mystery offers for these Labubus. And it's like the intrigue of never knowing what you're going to get is what drives people to stick around on the live stream. So the longer that they have a live stream, the longer that TikTok is going to amplify that, right? Because it's sending good signal to the algorithm. If you can keep someone on your live for 45 minutes, TikTok is desperate to show that to as many people as possible, because they're like, oh my gosh, this is like a massive attention grabber.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is gamifying the whole process. They're saying, if you stick around later, we might reveal a new one. Like if you stick around later, we might drop a coupon, get $30 off. And so what's that doing? It's kind of hacking the algorithm in a way. They're doing that at scale, bro. Like across 3 different accounts. I'm talking in the last 30 days, 105 million views on their live streams.
Wow.
$7 million in total revenue across these 3 accounts. What's even more insane is that is just a fraction of their overall revenue. This business is massive. It's like roughly $1.8 billion in revenue business alone. But Labubu's generated $420 million in 2024.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these too. This is crazy.
It's just like a little gremlin, like elf keychain. But some of them are selling for $3,000 because they're rare, right? Like if you get a rare one, or a mystery character or an exclusive for that live stream. And so,
dude, it's all out of stock too on their site.
Yeah, you can't buy it. That's why you got to tune into the live stream. And they're promoting that scarcity in the resale market. So they sold $420 million of those little things in 2024. Made them grow their revenue from $600 million in 2023 to $1.8 billion in 2024. And I think this is the future in terms of collectibles, in terms of like what is a key ingredient in your funnel to build urgency, FOMO, and scarcity is live shopping streams. God forbid you integrate a creator to it. I mean, I think Kevin Hart did his goalie live stream a long time ago. They made $1 million in a day. And why was that? I think
you consider that a flop.
I mean, they spent a lot more money than $1 million to get it done. But what is the life cycle of the asset? Like, I don't know. Could be longer. And they
just
said
like,
they would.
We really even see Kevin Hart as being somebody that takes goalie.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, he did it to promote Vita Hustle, his brand.
Oh, his brand.
Yeah, but it was a collab with Vita Hustle, and Goalie put up the marketing spend. So Kevin was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and, I'll do the live stream. Either way, I think what Popmart is doing is much more of a long-term play for, we talk about streetwear brands all the time. It's like, imagine if there was a 4-hour Q&A live stream with Ronnie Feig, and like, you got to tune in to get the exclusive, bro.
Yep.
Like, the drop model is powering a lot of these different apparel brands right now, because, if you're not within the first 30 minutes on a Kith Birkenstock collab, go get it for 4x the price tomorrow on StockX. And so I think people can do this with live streaming, and it's also a content opportunity where not only is he, okay, like there's hype, it's a cool product, but like they could walk through the story. It's like such a good engagement play to humanize the brand and connect you with the founder. And then boom, 30 minutes, products live. That's just the only inventory. Like TikTok's going to support this. So live shopping is not taken off in the US because I think we just haven't gone through the entire flipping of linear TV and cable TV, But think about QVC versus TikTok live shopping. Like, and QVC is now actually one of the biggest live shopping producers. And I think that's pretty interesting because they're obviously adapting to the current state of the market. But if you just think about the reach and the impact that you can achieve, right, with live streaming in a cohesive strategy, Popmart got 105 million people to tune into their live streams. 105 million. These people put up a Super Bowl in the month of May, right? That's unprecedented. You're never getting those views on QVC. Maybe you get 200,000, 300,000 people a day,
but still
on QVC, what was that, 5 million?
Compare that.
You're getting a tenth of the reach on linear TV as you can with the amplification of TikTok Shop and TikTok in general. And so I think we're going to see a lot of adoption of this soon, in terms of how do you build FOMO and urgency is, these live shopping exclusive mystery drops.
And it's funny because as you said that, like I had my email open and I got an email from Kith, drawing open Kith for A6 Vintage Tech Summer 2025. And like the same thing could happen. Yeah, via live.
Yeah.
It'd be a completely different experience too, right? Like everyone's battling here. Like,
is that not which one's better, right? The email with the go into your information, or the, hey, let's juice our account on the social page and like have a content opportunity?
Juice our account, and then, there's obviously there has to be a way to connect it all.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see it go live and for it to be like a production, and for it to be this whole thing.
Custom audience of retargeting.
Yeah.
Everyone that tunes into the live stream, cross-sell, upsell.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
And I think this is a broader trend too, where we get a lot of questions about retention on TikTok Shop and LTV. And everyone's like, well, if I don't have their email, then how am I going to remarket to them? My response is, you have their TikTok profile.
Yeah.
Would you rather send them a DM on TikTok, or would you rather send them an email to an email they haven't checked, where you're probably landing in the promo folder with all of their other brands they've ever bought from in their entire life? It's like, I actually think I would rather be in the DMs. Yeah. And so,
there's stats around it where it's like 80-85% open rate, or like,
it's the original thesis behind SMS marketing and texting, where it's like, that's going to
even DMs even more. Like, there's times where, and this happens with you and I, where you'll text me or I'll text you and we don't answer, or like we'll forget to answer. But if you DM me or I DM you, like we answer.
Because I clear my DMs.
Yeah.
I always clear I hate that. IG knows what they're doing. That red notification thing, I hate it. Like, I literally hate it. And because I'm checking it, because my boys are DMing me memes, like whatever. And it's like, I'm kind of trained to clear that out. And so I think TikTok is very similar, where your inbox is a great place to show up for them as a brand. And this is also like a branded content experience. It's an extension. It's hard to do. You have to program it. There's a little bit of manpower hours in it. But, I just think it's a really powerful new tool in people's arsenal. And I think we're going to see a lot more adoption after the success of this goes kind of a little more mainstream, because the Labubu thing is going nuts right now.
I'm going to dive into the Labubu thing, because I haven't seen this. And I want to jump into it. I also think it's going to be interesting and I'm not even trying to like spin it or anything, but for creators, brands, live streaming, I don't think it'll be 2025. I think it'll be 2026, but I do see the idea of a a lot more creators looking at it as just a channel,
Mhm.
right? You look at iShowSpeed, you look at Kai Cenat, and what they've done this year and like last year,
Remarkable.
gosh, dude,
It's unbelievable.
and I don't want to say they went from like no one to someone because they were obviously big, but they went
I mean, I would say the speed guy went from pretty big, but I think the Kai is like he's gone kind of like that. Whereas, dude, that speed guy is just it's vertical.
it is vertical.
And yeah, it's streaming.
But like, dude, Kai with my computer died, but Kai with when he did that 30-day thing where he had like Kevin Hart, Drewski,
Yeah.
dude, I was tapping into everything.
Yeah.
Relevant.
Or you were catching the clips on whatever relevant distribution engine.
Well,
Bleacher Report or like the Shade Room. It's like
it made me a fan of Kai Cenat.
Yeah.
Like iShowSpeed, there's moments where I'm like, oh, he's cool, but it's a lot for me. Whereas Kai's like seems like a chill dude. There's a huge opportunity, especially in our world of marketing and business where nobody's doing that.
Yeah. And I wonder if we're just in the like, so another experience, and comment if this is relatable for you, but it's like, I think every time I tune into Netflix, I'm so disappointed. Like every time I'm trying to tune into a streaming service, I'm like, bro, I don't want to watch any of this. Meanwhile, on YouTube, my recommendations are dialed. I have something to watch every single time I tune in there. I'm going to be able to be entertained for about 20 to 30 minutes. We've talked a lot about second screens. Like a lot of people are going to turn that YouTube on, be kind of half-hearted, tuned in, maybe checking other things. Like just a way to kind of like, relax, I guess. And I think similarly, like, not brand live streams necessarily. I think this is more of an event-based brand live stream. I mean, Popmart goes live every day because they're pushing crazy volume on these, drops. And there's an element of like, well, this could be, a Labubu I sell for $3,000 in, 3 months. But definitely on the creator side, it's like, I think I would tune in but it's so much left to stream. That's the one thing. And it's like, so we haven't seen the incentives match the lift, in my opinion. Like the upside from like producing a banger YouTube video, like will get you rich versus you got to stream every day for 30 days.
Yeah.
And
I think the upside right now is it's so early.
Yeah.
And that's a hard upside to sell.
Totally.
For some
I'm sure.
Yeah. Because I mean, we for Cut 30, we do like this 7-day challenge. And for that 7-day challenge, we live stream. So we'll live stream like my Twitter, Twitter, Oren's YouTube and stuff. And dude, we were setting it up yesterday. It was like an hour and a half call setting this shit up. You know what I mean? Like it was a hassle.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that. But I do think as well, like where we're getting, at least you and I, we can have sets. Like I was looking at an office space, let's say Friday, on Wednesday, where like I'd be able to have like multiple content sets, so I could have a live stream set.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah, I could have a live stream set. I could have this content format, that content format. I could just have it there, plug and play, invest in it. It's worth it. Because there's a lot of times where I don't film content because I'm like, fuck, I got to set up my light. I got to set up my camera.
Totally.
And it's that's the shit. And I'll have a script ready to go, visuals linked, everything's there. But man, it's like, I don't know, like when you're in the midst of a heavy, fast-paced day, do you really want to go set up a light and organize your office, your home office real quick? Like it makes it difficult. But if I could have sets that I just sit down and talk, like I don't know. Like I know I told you that the office space I'm looking at, it's a little further. It's closer to like the house I just bought.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, it's like 3,000 square feet, and it has. You walk in and there's like 3 office areas, like legitimate office areas, but that are pretty open, right? But then you have a open warehouse that you can craft however you want to craft. Where like we obviously have the pod, we could have content sets, we could have a gym, like we have a lot. And I like the idea of everything. And this is me being selfish, but like, man, just being able to drive 3 minutes and go have a full production day.
That's how. I think you look at what Nick Bear, that's what these guys build for Zella. Like you talk to him, it's like he literally, I'm pretty sure he films his podcast, any content, all at the First Form.
It's all at First Form HQ, dude.
Yeah, he probably lives there too, right? So
he does live there. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I think that's definitely like borderline, not necessity, but, an important thing to have is the ability to efficiently record lives. Like that's something I'm considering with my office is I want to build out like 4 phone booth type things because I could sell this live shopping thing to quite a few brands.
Yeah. And that'd be super interesting to offer.
Oh, it'd be crazy. There's really only one brand that does it. It's called Outlandish. Outlandish is like this. They used to be Chinese. Now they're, who knows? Deep state. Look, something that's not talked about enough is how much you can outperform in your current role and not realize any of the value out of it. And when that's happening, it's time to move on to that next role. But that also takes a ton of time, filling out applications over and over, finding cool companies, all just to get ghosted. That's why we're partnering with Massive, a new tool to apply to all the coolest companies in the world on autopilot. Massive uses AI to apply to your dream company for you, whether you're sleeping, eating dinner, working out, whatever it is. You can see all the applications being filled out, their status, whether you got rejected or whether they're moving to the next stage. And one of the coolest parts is that anytime one of these brands reaches back out to you and says, we'd like to schedule an interview, it's all in one inbox, streamlined so you can reply from one place rather than having to go between different emails, whatever, if you're using a burner. So if you're a top performer looking to land that next dream role without going through an intense job search, we recommend Massive. Go to usemassive.com/sweatequity to sign up today. All right, back to the pod. But anyway, so that's one thing. And then the other use case for live shopping that I think people would really, really find interesting is MaryRuth's Organics. Have you seen MaryRuth's at all in the past? Like they're
is this IG? TikTok as well.
You could look them up anywhere. They're huge. $400 million a year revenue. It's all about hair regrowth and supplements for women, pretty much.
My laptop died. That's why I'm.
Oh, you're good.
On TikTok, you said?
Yeah, look them up on TikTok. I bet they're live right now. They're live 21 hours a day right now. They are live 21 hours a day, and they've heavily invested in this because for them, they're getting around call it anywhere from 50 to 100 million impressions on their products every single day. And it's a supplement. It's a vitamin, right? And it would be really convenient.
Yeah, they're live right now.
Huh?
Like you said, they're live right now.
Yeah, they're live at all times. And what's really smart about this is if only MaryRuth had owned retail, if only they had a store on every corner in the US, because it's a hair regrowth formula. So I saw a girl talk about this on TikTok, and now I believe I believe it's going to work for me. But maybe I have a unique condition. Maybe I'm worried about taking it and how it's going to impact my gut health or impact my skin or whatever it is. Like I have questions that are not answered by that TikTok affiliate video. Well, MaryRuth's is live 24/7 because they want that to be their digital storefront. And so if someone has concerns or questions about the product, they can go into that live and then ask the employee those questions specifically. So I throw them in the chat and say, yo, I have, this type of skin. Is this going to make me dry out? Employees like, you should be good, but, I would recommend adding this as well. By the way, here's a $5 coupon just for you. Go hit it. Thanks, Ashley. And you're like, holy shit. Like that was like a live employee that just said that to the random TikTok user.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so they have all of these product impressions, and it's like, how much falls off in the middle of the funnel because of those questions? Probably a lot of people. And then they have to get hit by another affiliate video. Or if you're live 24/7, you can capture them when the intent is highest, when they have the most demand. Yeah. So I found that pretty fascinating. Like any brand that's pretty sizable could do that.
Are they rotating between hosts pretty often? Mm-hmm. They have to be, right?
I think it's every 3 hours.
What's crazy to me is how much your knowledge on live stream has evolved since the first one that you did for Hexclad in Venice.
Yeah.
When you went psycho on that one pan that was sold, at the end, bro, buzzer beater. Yeah. Tyler, what's the dude from the Pacers right now?
Oh, Halliburton.
Yeah, bro. You hit the Halliburton,
yeah.
Buzzer beater right before.
Yeah.
Shut it off. Let's throw a party.
But that was a perfect example of why the packaging and strategy behind a live stream is not what people expected. So, and all of this ties back to what the algorithms actually do versus what they are not designed to do. So, where are people discovering live streams? It's less and less on the For You page. TikTok knows that failed. I know a lot of people within TikTok. I don't mean to leak information, but putting live on the For You page as a discovery mechanism was a colossal failure. And what they're trying to do now is they're trying to use the TikTok shop piece as a digital storefront, because if you click on a shop or you click on a product and you see the brand is live, you can pop in there. And the other one is the event-based stuff that we're talking about with Popmart, where it's like you have to either establish the daily cadence that there's a reason to tune in every single day, and so the algorithm knows that, and so it'll push that out to the people that might be interested, or you have to use it as a demand capture digital storefront. But what we try to do with HexCloud is a great example of what would not work, which is we had a massive creator, 3 million followers, and she's great. And she crushed it. She used the pans throughout the entire cooking class, and she proceeded to like really push them during the live stream. She'd be like, yo, like, these are my favorite pans, HexCloud, they got a deal live right now, like whatever. And that just, like, we never topped like 400 people concurrently on the stream. She has 3 million followers. Like, it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
And it's just all about like how you package the event, right? You have to have the right strategy behind it, the right goals, and it can be wildly effective. But if you don't do that, it'll be a complete disaster, which is kind of the boom and bust nature of TikTok Shop that a lot of people have experienced.
I'm gonna dive into this weekend because I don't spend, like, the world I'm living in is a little different, or very different.
Yeah.
So I don't spend too much time like observing the lives.
Yeah.
But there's definitely an opportunity there to connect it to like the campaigns we're doing.
It is.
And I think that'd be a very early adoption thing to
BPAS questions for any of the founders of any of your clients. Like, dude, if you, as long as you can secure the commitment from the founder on that, and like, tease, hype, push, pull, like the stuff we talk about, it's like, if you can drive traffic to that event and then provide value on that event, I think it's a really fascinating way to activate for your customers.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I've been really steaming on, is just like how to productize that service, how to like add live shopping to the mix and, deliver value for it. The other thing that I begrudgingly have to admit is AI UGC is becoming viable. It's starting to work.
So cringe, dude.
It's so cringe, but unfortunately people are starting to discover like ways to do it, and that are not pushing Kim Kardashian butt doctor recommendations. We've kind of talked about that before with healthy tips and all these different theme pages where they would say like, I was the doctor behind Sports Illustrated swimsuit models cutting phase. Here's the 3 things you need to flatten your tummy.
My mom was a Hooters waitress here's exactly it.
Yeah. Here's how you get them big ol'. No, but it's like, now what I'm seeing is a much more kind of tame version. And there's actually this brand that's doing it really well. And I think they might be in Austin, which is interesting. I've like tried to figure out a little more about them, but they're doing men's future fashion trends part 3. And it's a really beautiful AI UGC model who says that hook.
That kind of works for that, right? Like, it
kind of works.
Because if you're talking futuristic, like, yeah, it makes sense.
Future fashion trends part 3. They don't have a part 1. It's so, like, someone doing this is like pretty savvy. I'll actually give it to them. And then they also have a Western tees for your boyfriend.
What's the brand?
It's called Maverick clothing. So I'm in their ad library right now, and I'll send this to Charles. So we make sure to put these up there. But it's really interesting how they're able to Trojan horse their brand into this. And AI UGC is an infinite testing mechanism for those hooks. So it's not just men's future fashion trends, but it's men's fashion trends of 2025.
Yeah.
That's 2 separate. You're paying for that in hooks.
Yeah.
With a current UGC creator, it's like maybe it's $350 for the video, but if you want to split test a hook, it's $500. With this, you just have infinite variations, infinite first load frames of, the background. Right now it's a collage, but what if it was just a highly stylized, like, bro in a cool setting? So I am starting to see a little bit of the practicality of this, and as a result, I have decided to use some of it in my various endeavors here. Because
for organic or mostly for paid, or what are you doing?
A few things. So number one, I'll just give the playbook because this is kind of what I'm doing. So I'm acquiring different theme pages right now. So I'm going to buy around 50 different theme pages, and we're going to mass produce content like this for the different niches that we're in: health and wellness, apparel, CPG, you name it.
That's literally where I was going to go to. Was this works for theme pages a lot, like
100%. And
very
then
well for theme
and then when you have the winner, right? Like any of these videos perform because we're going to buy an account with like, 10 to 30,000 followers. Street price for that is roughly like, $250 to $300. And so buy a bunch of those, mass produce AI UGC, A/B test everything across the board, see what angles are working. And then once you have that critical mass of attention, everything's going to be link in bio funneling back to one of my products. But at the same time, we'll take any winners. So the average video here is going to get 5 likes, die. Some are going to go viral and people are going to have no idea it's an AI actor. I've caught so many people that like these videos and they have no idea it's an AI person because people are just so passively scrolling. They don't really know. And we're going to take all the top performers and throw them in the ad account. And
Makes sense.
And yeah, it's going to probably print so much.
The best thing about the AI influencers is exactly what you're saying. Like, dude, you're able to create so fast versus if you had to make a team, like that's a $50,000 to $100,000 team that you're assembling, from editors to script writers to all of that. Where with AI, you can generate a shit ton of content.
Yeah. One thing that I will say just for transparency is that I think this is doable if you have an editor on your staff. Now I have multiple editors, and so I really just need the copywriting aspect.
But like I could even train it to get better and better based off as you get more viral content.
I think you can train it, but I don't see any of the current tools across the board, and I've used all of them, being good enough to create the B-roll edit behind the green screen. And I really am only bullish on this for green screen.
Yeah.
Still, there's just a little bit. It's just a little off if you don't do the AI green screen, but the green screen is cracked now because you can't, if you're, and I'm considering like, do I clone me and, start going theme pages of me on marketing content and just A/B test and explore all sorts of different like angles, case studies, like, multiply that. Haven't seen anyone do it yet. I mean, I've seen a few guys like Charles show this, the one guy, and there's actually Grab That Idea, I think, is an account on Instagram. I think they're an AI actor. There's a few of these out there.
There's a few marketing pages that are AI actors.
Yeah. And I've seen it and no one cares.
Yeah.
Because either dead, have you heard of dead internet theory? You heard of this?
Someone wrote about this.
It's like the theory that most site traffic now is bots, basically, on the internet.
I wrote about this recently. It's like somebody in our ecosystem.
There's a lot. It's a pretty popular. I don't know who, but yeah. So those are my 2 things that I'm kind of looking at this year. End of year, it's like, because the way I view Nibble and just generally my approach to growing companies is how do you leverage the most modern tools you can. I think TikTok Shop and short form content are like absolutely 1A, 1B in terms of like what is the highest leverage you can have. But these to me speak like a little more to an experimental channel where there's less competition, less saturation. And so we're working really hard to get our muscles on these really strong, because if it's something we can roll out as an added value, dude, brands at the enterprise level are craving. They have nobody. I think what I just said about on this podcast to a marketing manager at Nabisco who works at Oreo would literally like they would lose their mind.
They would have no idea what you're talking about. First off,
no,
like half 90% of the things we talk about on this pod, the majority of people at companies like that, enterprise companies, have no clue about this world.
But they also like the slice of pie that those people control versus like the slice of pie of like this little Shopify ecosystem that loves to just,
stroke each other,
stroke the same 5 people on Twitter all the time, like, is just so different.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of like the affiliate or Amazon marketers talk about this. They're like, Shopify is like small fries, but I think the biggest kahuna of all is like these retail brands that like have no idea how to activate on social. I did a video on McDonald's recently on how they rolled out. Have you heard of this mukbang thing? It's like a Korean trend where it's like you have just like such a glutinous amount of food, and it's like you just consume all of it on camera and do a live crazy, emotional review. there's no doubt in my mind that their investment in those micro creators generated like 50x like what they've gotten on TV. And I would bet that will spread like wildfire in terms of like, what is the mechanism to activate that? Like that is the next big thing. It's like, how do you activate like thousands of smaller creators? And I think, what's the cousin of that is how do you activate thousands of AI theme pages to push a message? 25% of Gen Z's attention is spent consuming content.
I believe it.
Of their waking hours is spent consuming content.
That's a lot.
And people don't want to post.
It's like 6 hours.
Yeah, the pie just grows bigger and bigger, and
every year.
Yeah. So those are the two modern growth hacks that I think if you can really get good at and focus on, I think I'll put it like this. I started Nibble in February of 2024, really January, and got it to a very, very life-changing place within like 6 months because I picked the right underserved marketing niche. And I think both of the two things that I just described is like
the next.
You could easily build in that, become really good at it, and make $100,000 a month.
Very fast.
Yeah, go get bagged up. If you listen to this pod not getting you bagged, then like I don't know what we can do for you at this point. Like we have tried to give you everything. So all right. Well, we'll catch you on next week. Thanks.